Rise Up Radio. Our mission is simple.
To connect,
Inspire.
impact,
Transform.
we will connect with our city's people and businesses.
Inspire all of us to achieve our dreams.
Transform the city by focusing on the resilience of our people.
And positively impact all who live and work here.
Rise Up believes our city is a city on the rise.
And all of us need to broadcast just how truly amazing this city is.
Welcome to the show. This is Tom Chester, your host for Rise Up Radio, Business Innovators Radio, and we are here today with two very special guests talking about caring and keeping our kids safe in our West Texas schools. Dan Wilford is president of Balco Systems, and also here is Dr. Kenny Border, superintendent of Shallowater ISD. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, I want to kind of start off with talking to Kenny a little bit, because I want to talk about this initiative that you did, Protect Your School District, and then I want to talk to Dan about the critical communication system in the schools and how that is done. Kenny, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and basically even about the TV interview that you did not too long ago, West Texas School District and Balco Systems, and installing this critical care communication system to keep students safe during the school day?
Yes, sir. My name's Kenny Border, and I'm the superintendent of schools in Shallowater ISD. I've been blessed to be in Shallowater now, starting year 13 as of today. And as it relates to the system that Balco put in, you know, the safety of our students and our faculty and the staff, it's of the utmost importance. Much like in the TV interview, post Santa Fe ISD, we met as a superintendent and as a school board to discuss what was in the best interest of our kids and our teachers. And as a result of that, we went from our main entrances being the only accessible point on our campuses throughout the day to all doors on each campus being locked throughout the day. And we contacted Balco to see about the possibility of putting in a system, a buzz-in system, where parents or community members or anyone else that want to access the building, they would push the button, and then we would acknowledge why they were there, and then they would gain access to the building through a push button in the front office via audio and video. And it's a great system. It started at the middle school. Today is our first day at school for the 2018-19 school year, and that system has been implemented district-wide.
And when the TV interview and everything happened, I was kind of watching a little bit, and then I read the article about it. I mean, it really did talk about you and the safety of the students and the faculty and the staff is the utmost important, you know, for you. And, you know, this school safety has been a big concern across the country today with all the different shootings and massacres and, my goodness, just all the things that are going on. I really take my hat off to you, my friend, for being able to take that initiative and get this system in there to work, to make it, you know, where these parents feel safe and their kids feel safe and the community feels safe. And I'm so thankful that you did that.
Thanks. We've simply gone from an age of convenience to an age of need as it relates to school safety. And the convenience was having the front door unlocked where people could access the building. And the need is for those doors to be locked so that we can control who can come into our building.
So your middle school has actually, in a lockdown situation, if something was to happen, everything is just what?
District-wide, I can push a button and lock down the entire district from the convenience of my office.
And then a whole process happens. Is there messages that all of a sudden get shipped out and all that other stuff that happens as well when that system gets locked down?
Yes, sir. When I lock down, it goes over the intercom system at each of the campuses and lets them know that we're in a lockdown situation. And then we have implemented procedures within our buildings as it relates to the action to be taken by faculty and staff and students.
That makes it really convenient and also necessary to have that fast response.
The great thing about it, Tom, is just the friendliness, the customer service, and the professionalism that Balco, you know, showed us throughout this entire process. They've been nothing but spectacular.
Balco system recognizes there's really no second chance when it comes to the safety of keeping our kids safe at these West Texas schools. Dan, how you doing, Dan? I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation right there.
That's good. I'd like to listen to what Mr. Border's done, and, you know, what Shallowater has done is completely Well, just last week I was in a school. He talked about all their doors are locked, and to get in you have to be buzzed in. I was in a school just last week, in fact. I was running to the door to get in because I saw a teacher going in. I was doing a site survey, and she said, "Oh, this door stays unlocked." I was like, "Oh, okay." And yet, just not anything that normally happens anymore in campuses. So I think for what Shallowater has done, they are being very proactive. Hopefully they don't ever have to use the system, but he saw the value in the system. The district saw the value in the system, and I'm just happy we were able to help him meet the needs of his district and securing his district.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I've been out there with many school districts and things like that, and being able to open doors and shut doors, and that's not really what's happening now. They mostly are locked, but they don't have quite what you offer. Dan, tell us a little bit more about yourself. First of all, let me say, Dan Wilford is the president of Balco Systems, and is located in Lubbock, Texas, and he has been married to Nicole Webb Wilford for over 30 years. And on Facebook, Dan says he is a husband, a dad, and a very, really blessed dude. Does that sum it up, Dan?
That pretty well sums it up. I mean, I married my junior high sweetheart, and we've actually been together for more than 40 years. But, you know, she was a blessing to me. She always has been. She's the rock of our family. Got two great kids. One's going to be a pediatric nurse practitioner, and my son is serving in the military. So my kids have far outdone anything I've ever done. So that's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, I saw pictures on Facebook. Your son graduated from West Point. Is that correct?
Yes, he did. Graduated last year, and he's at Fort Rucker, Alabama, learning how to fly helicopters for the Army.
Tell us a little bit about Balco Systems, kind of what it does and what it is, and then let's go into, how it helps these children.
Okay. Well, Balco was founded in 1962 by my father-in-law, I.A. Webb, and they've carried the Rauland board product line probably since the early 70s. I'm not sure how long ago they picked up that line, but Balco has always been very instrumental in the K through 12 communication process all through the years. I joined Balco back in 1992. Webb approached me. He goes by Webb, by the way. He approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in helping him in the company, and my degree is restaurant and hotel management. So I was a little apprehensive. I didn't know anything about electronics, but me and my wife wanted to get back to Lubbock. We really love Lubbock and the community, so I reluctantly agreed, but it's turned out to be the best thing I could have done. So I joined in 92. I bought the company from him in 2003. He still works here and still pretty active in the business. But as I said, Rauland's always been active in the K through 12 communication. Rauland was the first company to put a classroom phone in the classroom so that they could have private conversation back to the main office. But technology's changed quite a bit over the years. You've got voice over IP phone systems. A lot of districts have decided to go with voice over IP in the classroom, which makes sense because they've already got the cable there for that to happen. But the voice over IP phone system doesn't meet the security need and the communication needs of the school. And when you have a critical situation in place, and Dr. Borders will probably agree, the number one thing that you have to have in place is communication. You have to let your staff and students know what's going on, what they need to do, and how they need to react. And furthermore, you have to train on that. Schools that we've had a couple of schools that put the system in actually have a lockdown situation. I called to ask how it went. They said, "Oh, we didn't use the system because we haven't trained on it." Yeah, we train them, but they just don't train their staff. So it's kind of like a fire drill. They got to do it every so often and make sure that it's working. But it's with the technology changing. Rauland looked at the system and said, we've got to up our game for this area of the communications. And the Telecenter U system is currently what we're selling for Rauland, and it's currently the only system they're gonna sell, only model they're gonna sell. They're discontinuing the Telecenter 6 at the end of this year. So Rauland's putting everything they have into this system, and so is Balco. We see the value in the system. We really like the way it fits the needs of the school. It's software based. It's a district wide solution. With it being software based, schools can come up with challenges that, hey, we would like to do this, and it's our job to figure out how to make this work. And to go along those lines, one thing that Shallowater said is, we want to be able to control our front doors. And we came up with the idea of putting our speaker on their front porch, putting our call button out on their front porch. And it's all tied back to our system, and we control the electronics of that door. We don't want to necessarily do their access control system, but, their staff can look up and see who's at the front door. if they recognize them, they can press a button. It plays a pre-recorded message, unlocks the door, and allows those people to come in. The staff doesn't really have to do anything extra, but if they have to, they can communicate with the people on the front porch. And that was an idea that Shallowater had that we developed, and now we use that in our demonstrations now every time we demo the system.
That's great. I mean, to be able to just actually see them out there and know whether that could be trouble or not trouble, and, announcing themselves and up front. I mean, instead of just coming in, a lot of schools they have the front door open, and then they have a little barricade or glass that they can talk through. I mean, this goes way beyond that, because now you're protecting the school before they ever walk into the front door, not giving them access. And where I've seen these things where the glass is there, and you can basically in one jump you could hurdle the crazy thing, and then you're inside the school. And it's not bulletproof by any stretch of the imagination. So, I think, Kenny, that was a pretty good suggestion for you guys to make on that deal. And it looks like Dan took it and ran with it.
We're fortunate that the technological advancements are there to support our desires. It's one of those where any great plan is great unless the technology isn't there to support it. And fortunately, we partnered with Balco and were able to get it done.
That's great that they're able to adapt it to your needs. Dan, what else does this system do? I was looking at this thing, and man, this system is an intercom and it's an emergency alert system, and it's all in one. Tell me about what else it does.
Well, so when we talk about the system to a prospective customer, we talk about the day-to-day communications. Day-to-day within the intercom system, they can do all-call announcements. We could call into an individual room to get Johnny out of class to come to the office because his mom's there to pick him up for a doctor's appointment. But also the staff, the teachers, have the ability to call in back to the office if they need help. We have two buttons in the classroom. One's a normal call-in that would say, bad example, but we need printer paper. Can somebody bring us printer paper? Or if there's an emergency, we have a big red button on top of their normal button that allows them to push it, and these call-ins will display on the administrative phone in the office area. It gives the room number, it gives the teacher's name, and then the staff can pick it up and have a two-way conversation with the classroom. It's an emergency. That emergency will pop to the top of the screen so that teacher's emergency gets answered first. So that's kind of the day-to-day. It also has a bell schedule system with it. Probably one of the biggest things about the bell scheduling system, it's basically Google Calendar. Some of the old master clocks, setting up bell schedules, you had to have the manual, you had to have a college degree, and then you had to hold your tongue just right to get it set. Pushing 3 or 4 buttons simultaneously, and then you had one small digital display that you could see where the bell and time is. If you get your AM PM off, then that's messed up. But with this system, we can build bell schedules and save them on the server. You could have, your regular day schedule, your test day schedule, your snow day schedule, your pep rally schedule, and they're all pre-made and just set out on the server. Once those schedules are made, you populate a calendar with your bell schedule, and then you just save it. And then, let's say you decide to have a pep rally this Friday, you just go delete the regular day schedule, drag the pep rally schedule over to it, and then save it. And now all of a sudden you've already populated your pep rally schedule for that Friday. You could do this months in advance and not have to worry about it. You set your bell schedule and forget it. So that is a really big feature of the system. Most people that are in charge of bell schedules love that feature. And then the number one feature that we talk about is the critical response. In case of an emergency, we can do any pre-recorded message. It can be MP3 files, MP4 files. We have tones, emergency tones. We can put it before and after the message plays. We have 5 different levels of lockdown, or emergencies, I should say. One of them would always be all clear, because when you have an emergency, you've got to clear the emergency. So popular one is lockdown, shelter in place, evacuate the building. And then in West Texas, we need a tornado drill, so we can put an emergency message out there for a tornado drill. There's no longer ringing the bell 3 times or playing certain tones over the intercom system, and the teachers are trying to decide, okay, do I get under the desk or do I go outside? This is a message that's played, and it gives clear instructions as to what they're to do. So that's a huge advantage to our system. Like I said, you have an all clear, so we can play the all clear message and tell everybody to resume back to their everyday activities.
Wow. Does it have a sandstorm warning as well? Because when I lived in West Texas, I had this car as a Tempest and had the windows down, and all of a sudden I'm driving, and man, it just, a whole desert came in the car. I like to never got the crazy thing cleaned out. So, I know in West Texas, prairie dogs, cactuses, and also sandstorms are very, very common.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because if the school district wanted the sandstorm warning, it's all customizable. We can do, those are the 4 that we recommend, but they don't have to be those 4. We customize them to whatever they want.
And Rauland, I might point out, is really the leaders industry for what you're doing. I mean, they're the best of the best, and you only use them because of that reason, correct?
Oh, that's absolutely correct. Rauland's been doing this for many, many years. There are other players in the game, but right now I think Rauland's got the best system hand down. It's been well thought out, well designed, and well engineered, so that's definitely why we stick with the Rauland design.
And the other thing that I really, when I read up on a little bit more about, Balco itself, when you took over and you did all this, and you regeared this whole company for this particular reason. Is that correct? The hospitals, the schools, and nursing homes, and all that stuff. Is that what you did?
It really is. As Rauland came out with the newer systems, we've invested heavily in the systems. Even the system prior to this, we invested heavily in them by training technicians. It's no small expense to send a technician to Chicago to get training and certified on the system. But yeah, I was willing to make the investment in the product so that we could properly sell it. More importantly, we could properly install it and properly train our customers on how to use the system that they spent money on and want to gain value. So yes, we pretty much made sure we were geared up to handle the needs of our customers.
You serve all of West Texas, is that correct? El Paso?
Not quite El Paso, but no. So what Rauland has territories, and it broke out by counties of the state of Texas, and we basically go from Plainview south past Interstate 10 down in the Pecos area. Don't go quite to El Paso, but near that part down there, you might as well go on over to El Paso. And then we go from New Mexico over to about Abilene. We have a pretty large area.
Well, that's good, man. I tell you what, I need you here in San Antonio, my friend. Is there any harm in me branching you out a little bit in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas? And, that would be, can we reach you that far, my friend?
We could not, but I could definitely hook you up with just a good Rauland distributor in those areas that would take care of you. The Rauland well covered throughout the entire United States. I don't think there's a bad distributor out there. Rauland doesn't allow for bad distributors to represent their product.
Perfect. And I know you got a lot on your plate. I know this is going to be a very busy week for you as well as Kenny. They're starting today. And today,
yes,
Kenny, I really appreciate you being on the show with us today and taking a part in this because, this is a story that talks about a school district and it talks about a company coming together. And I call you guys the superheroes of West Tech. It's all a need, and superhero, that's all it is. You see a need, you come up with a solution, and you save the day. And you guys saw the need for this. You came up with the right solution for your school district, and basically it has probably in one of these days, hopefully not, you won't have an incident that this will be needed this much, but, it will save the day one of these days. Is that correct?
That is. I truly hope that it ends up being wasted funds. But at the same time, if we ever do need to use it, it's going to be an invaluable resource.
It absolutely sounds like the capability of the system. It does everything you need it to do and more. See the system as a multi-faceted system that the ultimate thing is the safety of our schools, safety of our community, even, the safety of our children and the teachers. And God bless you guys. You have one of the most difficult jobs, I think, that's out there. But I thank God that there's superintendents out there that are looking out and that are reaching out into the future and beyond to make sure that everybody gets protected. So thank you, Kenny, so much. And I know you got a busy week and probably a whole busy school year, my friend, out in front of you because you're building new schools from what I understand and doing all kinds of things. So thank goodness that I had this opportunity to spend some time with you on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to say before you go?
The biggest thing is there are other school districts that have reached out to me and I've given them contact information for Dan as it relates to Balco. So there are many superintendents in the West Texas region who are very concerned as it relates to the safety of their students and making sure that their student safety is of utmost importance.
Well, that's great. I'm sure Dan appreciates that testimonial and that.
Well, I do, and likewise, I use Shallowater in my when I'm talking to customers as well. So it's a two-way street on that deal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they helped you. They helped you as well as come up with some more things to add to the system and everything. So that you guys work together extremely well. It looks like from my standpoint. Well,
yes,
Dan, I appreciate, man, you being on the show too. Thank you so much. I know it's been a fun summer for you guys, and now it's getting back to the nitty and gritty of a school year here, and it just adds more to your plate and everybody else out there. So I'd really like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from the parents. I'm sure they're just ecstatic about this, and then from the student standpoint, they might not realize the need for it, but I tell you what, it is a security blanket for them, and hopefully it will be for all the West Texas schools. I think you set the pace. I think you set the mark, and I think you'll be getting a lot of phone calls, and hopefully when this gets broadcasted out there, man, I'll tell you what, you might need to hire some more people, Dan.
I may have to. And on that note, speaking of my people, I do have good people. I have my technicians really care about setting the systems up correctly, and they care about the schools as much as I do. So that does help when you have good employees.
Oh, absolutely. It makes your company, you are what your people are.
Exactly.
Well, Dan, as we're shutting down the show today, I just want to make sure that we could share your information. Can you give us how to contact you and your website, phone number, email, whatever that we can do to share out there with the audience?
Sure. Again, my name's Dan Wilford, president of Balco Systems. That's BALCO Systems. We're in Lubbock, Texas. Phone number would be 806-748-0121. You're welcome to call in and ask for myself. We do have a website. It is balcosys.com. There's relative information out there as well. And then if you need to email me directly, it's dwilsford@balcosystems.com. If you need to contact me, I'd be glad to help you. We do free demonstrations. Be happy to come out and show anyone how the product works, and we just like people to see it.
I appreciate it. To wrap up the show, I just want to pass on this one thing to you guys and saying, thank you very much. And you are a perfect example of this. And working together, we all can make a difference in our community. We can make a difference in the people that live in our city and the lives of the people that are there and the businesses and everything. This is Tom Chester from Rise Up Radio, Business Innovators Radio, and that's go for today.
Thank you for listening, and remember,
by working together, we can make a difference in our city.